Dibble Show.
Oh, gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. It is a little early this week, but we got to get it done. I got my mustache on, Kurt, and that means I'm really smart.
We call that a mustache.
Mustache. Who you got, gentlemen, boys and girls listening on the radio airwaves? Take a moment, find a piece of paper, find a pen, and write these down.
Write it down in your hand.
Kurt has fallen back to earth after a red-hot Week 1 in 2024. The gang is 3-2 when we all agree. Dibs, I'd say, was the hottest one last week. Maybe that means it's my turn in 2024. But we have got some games, gentlemen, that we have to come up with winners for our listeners. And as we've been telling you, we got Connecticut Ice this weekend, which starts tomorrow afternoon. It's going to kick the Rob Dibble Show off the air at 3 o'clock. Our Ice Bus boys, UConn Hockey, take on Sacred Heart. 3:45 with the pregame.
Is that at Sacred Heart?
No, it is at the XL Center,
dude,
baby.
Have you seen their new facility?
Oh, is it sweet?
What'd they spend, $32 million?
$32 million?
I think more. 70 million.
Them chumps don't deserve it. Pretty boy rich kids is what I call them, Dibs. They're going to come up here to the XL, the beautiful, palatious XL Center, and they're going to be like, oh, God, this place isn't up to our Sacred Heart standings. And they're going to get their butts kicked. But that's not a part of the – well,
we're not picking that game?
A little bit, kind of. Let's start right there.
All right, I'll go with the Catholics. I'll take Sacred Heart.
Whoa! How dare you? How dare you?
In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. That's how I dare.
Sacred Heart. Now,
Henry,
I'm not talking about just the game against the Huskies.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the entire ball of wax. Who walks home with, or who skates home with that CT Ice trophy? You're going with the Catholics?
I'll go with the Catholics.
Sacred Heart for Dibs. Wow. Kurt? Now, let me tell you, you got Sacred Heart.
I got to tell you, Sacred Heart
UConn.
made me a nice plaque with a uniform in it when I spoke. You know,
that's
so.
the rest of the story.
There you go.
Now, Yale and Quinnipiac on the other side of this bracket. Kurt, who you got?
Quinnipiac.
Whoa!
Yeah.
The national champs.
I didn't know that was one of my choices.
The Bobcats for Kurt.
I'll stick with Sacred Heart.
All right, Dibs, Sacred Heart.
Just for the sake of this
Kurt
segment.
with the Cats.
Yeah, Quinnipiac's a good pick.
I put up a
Reigning
brand new
national champ.
poster in the studio. Kurt's in the studio right now. As you look to your left, Kurt, you're going to see 4 seniors smile. They're not smiling, staring back at you.
You
from
put up
the
a
Ice
Yale,
Bus.
bros?
No.
Oh, okay.
UConn. They're going to find it this weekend. They're going to beat Sacred Heart on Friday, which is their worst day of the week. And then on Saturday, they're going to beat down the Bobcats. Unless the Bulldogs pull off an upset. But I think I'm going Ice Bus for this weekend and then throughout. Now we go, boys. Give me UConn to win CT Ice.
Hello.
I had one more caveat. My wife got her master's degree from Sacred Heart.
Oh!
She graduated UConn, but got it from Sacred Heart.
Even more of the
There you
story
go.
there. NFL, shall we?
We shall.
AFC Championship. Mahomes, Lamar, Taylor Swift against my favorite comedian. How do we say his name? Stavros Hakias? The Greek dude? Stavros? I love that dude. Can't pronounce his name, but I love his stuff. And he's like making a killing on this Baltimore Ravens run too, by the way. Ravens, Chiefs, Dibs, who you got?
It's in Baltimore. What is it? I think the 3.5. Is that the spread here?
3.5.
Are you making me take the spread?
No, we're just picking straight
All right, and I'm
up.
going Baltimore.
Baltimore Ravens.
I think they're healthier. I think their quarterback can run for 100 yards versus this defense and throw for another couple of touchdowns. I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Kurt?
Agreeing.
Trying to put an end to the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift script.
I'm shocked.
I think so, yeah.
I'm shocked by that, Kurt. Because I'm with you. We're all going Baltimore. Go Lamar. Go Lamar. Go Lamar. Give me the Ravens. And I know we talk about Lamar. I know we love our boy Zay Flowers from Boston
We do.
College. But my guy is Roquan Smith. I wish he was still a Bear, and I can't believe the Bears gave him up to the Ravens.
I can't either. He's a hell of a player.
But he is going to wreck people's lives. Agent Zero running amok on Sunday. Give me the Ravens.
I think it's the Ravens' year overall.
We're all going Baltimore. That's kind of scary for me. I'm really nervous about it now. All right, NFC Championship. Will it be the magical run of Coach Campbell and them boys from Detroit? Or will it be Rocket Ship Purdy and Mr. Shanahan once again in the Super Bowl? Dibs?
I got to go with what Brandon Lang was talking about, how Purdy was not so Purdy in that last game. And I just think Detroit's a team of destiny. Ooh. They deserve to be in the Super Bowl. They're going to make their feelings known in San Francisco, and I think they put a hurting on Purdy and on McCaffrey. I think Campbell's smart enough to know McCaffrey, because if there's no Deebo Samuel and he's still 50-50, McCaffrey's the guy we got to stop.
Kurt?
That 50-50 on Deebo is the reason that I'm going with Campbell and those Lions.
Wow. Well, I'm a big believer in title towns. When the ball gets rolling in a town, whether it's the Tampa Bay Lightning winning and then that runs into the Buccaneers, that runs into the Rays run, or when your Boston Bruins win a Stanley Cup and then all of a sudden the Celtics are winning and then the Red Sox find themselves in the World Series. It's wild that Michigan just won a national championship and Detroit Wait, Tigers suck. Pistons are even worse.
Oh, my God, Pistons are horrible.
I'm not doing anything with the Red Wings. I'm sorry. It's not a city thing. It's a family thing. Harbaugh Bowl version 2. Even though Jim's not coaching San Francisco, Super Bowl rematch. Ravens 49ers. Give me the Niners. Ending the Lions.
That is totally absurd.
Oh, that is great. All right, I got to get the leaderboard out for this because I don't know who is up at the top.
Torrey Pines?
The Torrey Pines. Let's get the PGA
Are we
started,
golfing now?
boys. Yes, we are golfing now. I did see my man Patrick Cantlay won't lay up at the top spot of the Farmers Insurance Open. Now, this is in Torrey Pines, which is what, La Jolla, California? Is that like –
La Jolla. Yeah, La Jolla.
Is it like Jalapenos?
It's
Is it
just La
like
Jolla.
That's how you spell La Jolla? It's not
Yes.
Hoya.
No.
It's not like the Georgetown Hoyas?
Certainly not pronounced La Jolla.
We're going to La Jolla.
La Jolla.
Who you got, Dibs? Let me give you the top spots.
I'm
Dietrich.
looking at it.
All right. You got it? You want to go?
I got it.
Kurt, you got it? You ready to
I'm
go?
going to have to go
I'm
down
looking.
a little bit, but he just made a good jump. I'm going to go with Tony Finau. I think
Finau?
he's ready for this to win now.
Yep.
Tony Finau, he is tied for third at -8.
Kurt?
All right, so I looked ahead already,
Yeah.
right? And I don't like taking early front runners, because it kind of feels like cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but Cantlay had my attention.
Can't lay, won't lay up for Kurt.
No,
Oh!
had my attention.
Had. Okay.
So I'm looking down the list, and now the guy that I typed out as I always do for my pick, and now I can't even find him on the board.
course.
Morikawa.
Oh, Morikawa's slipping. All right, let me go. I'm scrolling.
He lost 63 positions this afternoon since I picked him.
So he's upset, and he's going to bounce back is what
He's
you're saying.
tied for 72nd right now at 200.
And the cut
Yeah.
is at -3. You sure you want that? I think you should go with Cantlay, man. Just being your advisor
Wow.
here on this one.
All right, I'll take your.
You know what?
take your call.
I'll give them both to you. Cantlay or
Why don't
Morikawa.
you go with Patrick Rogers, Aaron Rodgers' cousin?
That's not true. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't
Aaron
that be-
Rodgers has no family.
I'd rather-
Yeah.
He was
He's disowned
he
them
was
all.
made in a petri dish. He wasn't actually born.
He disowned them all by now.
Patrick's up 98 places.
Ooh,
It's tied for
hot
10.
day. I want my man Shane Lowry. I want
Shane
the
Lowry.
big bruiser who just had a huge breakfast this morning, and he's going to finish this weekend off on top. Give me Shane Lowry in Torrey Pines.
His cousin, Kyle Lowry, was traded this week.
That's how you spell La Jolla?
La Jolla.
No way.
Yeah.
Hit me in the face, Kurt. I feel like it could be the dumbest thing I've said on radio in my whole life. Really? It's not LaJala? UConn top scorer. We got Notre Dame coming into town for the women on Saturday night and the men Sunday afternoon against Xavier. This went Tristan Newton's way last weekend, and all of us swung and missed. Dibs, who you got? Top scorer UConn on the weekend.
I'm going to stay with Miss Beckers.
Ooh,
She had, 26 points in her last game? I think she's going to go for 30.
Paige Becker. She does feel like she's on a mission. And I do think that Caitlin Clark is in the back of the mind of that mission.
She's way behind. She's at 20 points per game. Clark's at 31. She's got to make up some ground.
Kurt?
Did you see the box score from the other night? And particularly the minutes is what I was looking at. And you don't stay on the floor if Gino doesn't like what he sees. Shade had 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me Shade.
Wow, my girl.
Throwing some shade.
My Indiana friend, Ashlyn Shade for Curtis. Excellent. Now we are in the XL Center. I know my man Cam got held back at Wells Fargo Arena in Villanova. They D'd him up. Not at the XL Center, sirs. He is going to be on fire against Xavier. First 30-point performance.
Nice. Good call.
Give me Cam Spencer.
I don't mind losing if Cam's going to go out there. I've been picking Cam.
I know. Always one of us will pick Cam Spencer.
I love Cam Spencer.
That's true.
Running it back, I'll take Cam. Kurt's got Ashlyn Shade. Dibs has got Paige as UConn's top scorer on the weekend. Torrey Pines. Kurt's rolling with 2 picks because the first one's so bad. Colin Morikawa, who almost fell out of it today. Giving him that one on top of Patrick Cantlay. I'm going to roll with Shane Lowry. Dibs is taking fee now, not later. In the CT Ice, Dibs went with Sacred Heart. What?
Long shot, man.
Kurt's going
Long shot.
national champ Bobcats. I'll roll with the Ice Bus and UConn. NFC Championship, I'm feeling the 49ers. These boys are going Detroit, and we're all taking Baltimore on top of the Taylor Swift Kansas City Chiefs. That's who we got.
I can't believe you didn't at least throw in like Bellinger and Snell and whether or not they signed this weekend.
I know. We did that last weekend. I was also thinking Belichick in that role. It's like,
Yeah.
who do you think they're going to be? I just saw Bellinger popped up on my screen as one of like the potential moves on free agent, and I didn't know it was potential move. I just saw Bellinger's head wearing a Cubs hat, and I got so excited. And I was like, did he sign? Did he re-sign? Oh, he's just somebody that hasn't signed yet. But, yeah, that's the –
Reese Hoskins, by the way, is finalizing a deal with the Brewers. So
really?
you're going to see him against your Cubbies. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you got to take waivers on some of these guys that were injured last year.
Do you think Snell's going to take the price cut, or is he going to wait until April 1st? Because what, 150 is what he's asking. Yankees are the only ones offering, and he doesn't want to.
The knocks on him now are starting to be like the things we've talked about. Those lean years, like the in between the sandwiching the Cy Youngs around those other years.
Yeah,
they're starting to really dig into those years of innings pitched, strikeouts, and the one thing they came up with was he walks a lot of guys. He has a lot of walks.
Yeah, but when that guy is on, really,
listen. I agree exactly what he's saying. I pitch around guys on purpose. That's pitching. When let's just say you got 2 outs and the 3 or 4 hitter coming up, nobody on base. I can walk that guy. I got 3 bases open.
Right.
The thought process now of some of these teams that just look at stats alone and not why he's pitching the way. I will give Blake he can pitch. And if he doesn't need to tell you why he's doing things and explain himself for you why you're not going to pay him. You either pay him or you don't. You either want this guy in the set. See, that's why I think he fits in for $150 million with the Yankees to pitch with Cole is just absurd on his part. He can win a couple championships if he can be that good, and if the other guys come back and get healthy, they've got a shot.
Do you think Bellinger is a price tag thing?
Absolutely.
Like he
feels he proved himself worthy of a $200 million deal. teams are going, yeah, but you had like 3 awful years before that. If you return to that, we're stuck.
Right.
We're getting a Joey Gallo kind of guy. We don't want that. We want the 300 hitting or 280 hitting Bellinger.
Does fielding even come into play? Because he plays multiple positions really well. He can play.
It should.
First,
He's versatile. He can play
outfield.
infield, outfield. Listen, I think he's a hell of an athlete. I think I can't explain why he had those down years, because at the beginning he looked so locked in. But again, it's a confidence game. Baseball is all about confidence, and when you lack the confidence to be consistent, that's a problem. I can't pay you $30 million to hit like Stanton. So if I'm the Yankees, I'm shying away from having another Stanton on our roster. They just did it with Josh Donaldson when they brought him in from Minnesota. So you really got to worry about we can't give 8 years anymore to some of these players. And that's why I think teams are scared and maybe thinking we'll wait for next year's free agent crop. How is Alonso having so much trouble when he's been pretty damn consistent the way he hits with the Mets? Think about that. So if that guy who's been really consistent, hitting 40 home runs a year, driving in 90 to 100 runs a year, hitting, I don't care if he's hitting 250, 260, he's consistent at what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I said this about Bryce Harper, and I'll say it about some of the others. Giving a guy $10 million, $15 million extra a year annually is not going to improve on a 8-year track record.
Right.
You're going to get what you're going to get. And so I think some of these teams are scared to pull the trigger on this deal. And then you have other teams like the Red Sox, the usual suspects, that have pulled all of their cards off the table. We're not even in this game anymore. So that's what's hurting some of these agents and their players, is they don't have as many teams that are involved in these negotiations.
So true. And it seems like it's becoming a pattern, too, year to year. I feel like we're going to be starting spring training with a significant number of free agents unsigned. And a lot of these guys are going to get into the league or get on teams with a week to go before opening day.
You're going to see a run. You're going to see a run of 1- and 2-year deals here coming up in the next week, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. When the wives get involved, or even girlfriends that are like, how come you don't have a job? Spring training starts in a week. We don't even know where we're going. You should already have an apartment picked out, or a condo, or a townhome, or you've already sent in a check to secure that residency for 6 weeks. So a lot of these the significant others are going to almost force the hand of the husband to say, all right, fine, I'll take a Teoscar Hernandez 1 year, $23 million deal just to get my bearings to where we're going to end up this year.
But I think this pattern is being played out by the general managers and the owners. This is how it's gone the last 2 or 3 years.
It's a game of chicken right now, and the teams are winning.
Well, the teams, they'll pay for those big market value guys like the Shohei, like the Yamamoto, like anything else. And then after that, they will just wait out all those littler fish or those smaller fish, so those big tags drop down the closer we get to opening day. And I just feel like this is the way baseball is going until we do another collective bargaining agreement.
I agree with you.
A lot of those guys, and you know this, they're probably going to be injured.
Listen,
because they're not going to get the proper spring
this
training.
is like football. 10% of the players in the NFL make 90% of the money.
Yeah.
The other 90% scramble around every year trying to get a deal. Now you're starting to see it. You don't see it in basketball yet, but you're seeing it in baseball. And it might be 70-30 right now in baseball, where 30% of the guys are making 70% of the money, but you're still seeing huge swaths of free agents every year. Some are being weeded right out of the game.
But it's the middle guy. That's the thing, is like Joey Gallo got a deal.
But he got a 1-year national
Exactly, he got a
deal.
1-year deal. There's a lot of those 1-year deals for those guys that will take 1-year
Aroldis Chapman got a 1-year deal with the Pirates.
Another perfect example. Like, do you have any more gas left? I don't know. Let's give you 1 year. You've got the halves of the Shoheis and the Yamamotos.
Way more have-nots.
And then you've got the 1-year deal guys, and there's this huge middle class, such as Blake Snell and Cody Bellinger, and then everything else in between. And those guys are just getting kind of played by their agents and their owners right now on the price tag.
Well, and you also see teams like the Rays and some of these other teams that are being successful and not spending a boatload of money. And so they're saying, listen, the Brewers, some of these other teams, if I don't have to be in the top 10 in spending every year, I'm not going to do it. And we're still going to be in the playoffs. And I think the addition of more teams in the playoffs has probably hurt some of these free agents.
That's a good point, and they don't even think about that, especially with incentives of playoff incentives and stuff like that goes into all these contracts. Now, those are getting paid out a lot more than what they used to.
Your mustache is driving me crazy.
Why, is it crooked?
No,
or is it perfect?
It's just funny.
It's called the Weasel.
You look like Inspector Clouseau.
It's called the Weasel.
I feel like I'm talking to the Pink Panther here.
I got to get my mustache and my scarf ready for my Somalia interview that they want to do. Not Somalia.
Sommelier? Something like that.
The wine taster.
Yeah,
that's
guy.
what I'm going for, okay?
And you need the big medallion.
I'm a blue-collar
The guy
wine
usually has
taster.
like some big medallion or something around his neck.
Okay, I can work on that.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Brandon Lang from BrandonLang.com. He is a money manager. He's one of the best handicappers out of Las Vegas. He will join us next.
Getting home, you're going to slow it down already.